Now, let's move to the next stage, which in your case was revising the content. Makes sense?
Absolutely. So we have to look very closely at the publication notice and use all the elements that are in the publication note in order to structure your plan de bataille, your preparation. Clearly, you have to be able to identify this aid. It's not as easy as it might look. There is exactly what is in the text, and so you will see that certainly there are a number of requirements that are described. There are competences that you will have to prove and that you will have to show, but there's a part of the publication note and there you should really be able to read what it is not in there, because that's also an important part. There again, I think that professional help it's crucial to identify how to prepare the preparation. It's not just it's done on purpose, because prepare the preparation is as important as prepare the different duties, competence, the interview. You have to have a clear plan, and you have to develop and be consistent in moving forward a lot of different dimensions, and you have to be clear about how to do it. So it's not easy. It's a bit like you know, those jongleurs, those who play with balls or with cones in a circus. You have to keep floating a lot of different objects at the same time without losing sight, and being focused on all of them, but on each of them at the same time. Not an easy task, but certainly this can be developed. This can be trained as many other things.
Exactly, as you said, if you have a good plan, right, then you have an overview of your preparation, and then you know every time where you are in that preparation. So in your case, I think that you had to revise the whole European policies, institutions.
It was basically, it was very, very large. It was a very large series of thematic areas. And so, of course, when you approach that amount of teams, you cannot hope that you will be able to know every single detail of all policies that have been put in place by the EU institution in the last, let's say, 10 years. That would be, I guess that there might be someone who is. So I admire, but at the same time, I was not, and I guess the vast majority is not. So you have to approach it compared to what is the end result? What do you need to do with that? What will that knowledge serve? It will serve, at least in most of the cases, an oral presentation, a panel, an interview with a panel.
A 10 minutes presentation on an European subject, right? That subject might be policy, institutions, enlargement, hot topics, yes. Priorities of the Commission, right? So everything, in fact.
Absolutely, yeah. You can be confronted with almost all the mare magnum of the EU institutions' activity. Now, the starting point must be to create a format, and that format will have to guide you. Will be your structure. The idea is to have a skeleton. I don't, you know, we're all different outside, but if you look at skeletons, they tend to be similar. They have the same amount of bones. They have the same amount of let's say the same structure. Now you create the skeleton, which is how do I present? How do I speak about this not a specific topic, but a topic.
No, exactly. So this is the skeleton, what I call fish, right?
Exactly.
In our Franglish wording, this is the fish, and you have to have a fish that corresponds to you 10 minutes presentation, right? Yes. In your case, was the 8 minutes presentation?
8 minutes, 8 minutes in front of the panel, where you could, and then you have the possibility either to present to just present it orally, you can have the support of a little of a board where you can, if you want, write some elements or keywords.
Exactly. So in your case, Michele, I think that we had the structure of 8 bullets for 8 minutes.
Yes, indeed. We created the format we created was very short intro, then we had the bullets and very short conclusion. The difficulty there is that, and this applies to many different things, but the difficulty is that 8 minutes, they seem very short. They are shorter than that. There, in front of a panel, 8 minutes just go. You don't even realize that you have started speaking. So you really have to train hard in order to be able to use to the full those 8 minutes, and also be balanced enough to present a content, not losing yourself into details, but not being at the same time too generic. So that's the difficulty. The point would help a lot. What helps a lot is that is training. Is once the format is built, is applying the format to as many fields as possible for as long as one can, because it's a bit like a sort of automatic conditioned reflex at a certain point. Whereas by doing this, creating those formats, filling with content, and then expressing orally, possibly in front of a mirror, or in any case, in a way recording it if you want, but in a way that you can see your performance. And recording it's even better, because then you can really go back to the specifics. So rehearsing a large number of times helps acquiring that automatic instinct that then will guide you through in front of the panel. You don't have to get in front of a panel if you are not sure that you can feel every single minute passing without looking at your watch. So it's something that has to become natural. So you know what you're doing, where you are. Now I am in the introduction phase. I know that after this amount of speaking or words, or I have to pass through the first part, the main body. And this is extremely challenging, because it requires time. So of course, it's not an easy task, but there again, let's be clear, you can do it by yourself in front of a mirror, that's fine. But if you have someone who's by your side, and you every time polish what you're doing, thanks to the advice and thanks to the fact that you have a professional guiding you in the right direction, the amount of time becomes less important, let's say.
What I do remember, when you were doing the exam, right? And then you arrived at the minute 6, and they said you have 2 minutes, and you knew that you have 2 minutes.
Yes,
so
I knew it. I knew it before they said. I knew exactly where I was, and when we finished, I knew that I was exactly at the end of the 8th minute. But basically, I took 5-7 more seconds, and I still remember that I had in mind exactly the 8 words that I had to say in those 5 to 7 seconds.
That is absolutely. So what we are talking about, that once you created a structure, right, then you turn into this structure all the subjects that you have to present, and then you practice, hopefully somebody on your side, by your side, to help you, so that you get to not only presenting, but presenting in 8 minutes, which is amazing. So I do remember this. And then I do remember another thought that when you came out of the meeting of this presentation, and I think was the secretary of the jury who told you, like a big secret, that this is the best performance that I have seen in this competition.
Actually, he didn't tell me, but when going out, I had to take back some of my stuff, and by passing outside of the door, probably the person, I think it was the one who was presiding the panel, and probably they just it just couldn't keep it. It didn't do it. It didn't do it on purpose, but probably it just came out, which is frankly speaking, not something special. It is what each candidate or each person that wants to go through a competition should aim at. This is the result. We all know there are hundreds of thousands of people who would like to do this kind of jobs, and it is not a competition between low-skilled professionals. This is often the top level in their profession, in their professional area. So what you have to do is to be much better than any other competitor in a way that you impress the jury. That I think that in any kind of selection, this is the aim. But to do so, again, it's you can dream that this can happen because you are the most skilled and talented person ever.
You could dream, or you could make it happen.
Yeah, because frankly speaking, I've never considered myself the best or the excellent candidate or the perfect candidate. I think, on the other hand, that I became an excellent / perfect candidate. Yeah. So I was not at the beginning, but I became it with the time, with the effort, with the energy, and also with, of course, your support and your professional assistant. That's certainly something which is extremely important. We also have to be humble enough to recognize this, because sometimes with coaching, it's a bit of, oh, but you can be looked at like, oh, you need coaching. Why? And it's like, I remember one thing. I am a very passionate tennis player. So when I was much younger, I used to to compete in tennis tournaments and in tennis teams. And I was used to go once, even twice a week to have tennis lessons. So I met there my friends who were my competitors, and they were looking at me and they were like, "Why the hell are you going to the tennis teacher, to the tennis prof? You are already very, very strong." And I was like, but that's exactly the point. This is exactly the point.
Exactly. I'm strong because I've been there.
Exactly, and it's not that you reach a moment where you are perfect and that's it, because your professional life is longer than you can envisage. And in order to
I would say, Michele, is certainly longer than that of a tennis player.
Of course, that's for sure. that's
but you get your trainer with you throughout your professional life, right?
Absolutely. And I am very, very, I don't know, I got this coaching being coached attitude. I got it a bit more from my US experiences than the European ones, where coaching sometimes, again, is seen as something, oh, do you really need that? You will not find a single or one CEO or someone who's heading important companies, who has developed his own company, who is involved into whatever it is, international trade.
Let's call them successful professionals, right?
You will not find any of them without their own coaching history and experience. And they, of course, it's also a personal relationship, because being coached means also putting yourself in the hands of someone and putting full trust. So it's not an easy choice. You should not do, or one should not do it just lightly, just because you need to be trained on this, You have to select, and you have also to create a relationship that should last in time. I don't remember, Carmen, how long we've been working together, but
I would say
it's a consistent amount of time, let's say.
And what is let's say, I would not say amazing, but it's what is reassuring in that perspective is that we do see each other years after years, right? So this is what you said, it's a long-term relationship, and it's accompanying your professional life, which in theory was like the sport coach, the tennis coach, accompanying you through your tennis competitions. So the metaphor, I think, is perfect.